A plan with snakes to punish the wife for cheating. That time it was a Saturday morning. I had backed out of my driveway and was just heading to the Home Depot Mega Mall to buy some parts to fix the tub in our bathroom when I realized I had a flat tire. And I'd only gone about 30 meters, no more. I had to get out of the car and go home to get a hydraulic jack. On the way to the kitchen, I heard Dora talking to someone on the phone. "Don't worry, he won't be a problem." My jingling keys dropping on the counter let her know I was back. In a muffled voice, hurriedly, "I have to go." I walk into the kitchen and see her turn around, smiling as if nothing had happened. "Hey, honey, you're back fast." "Flat tire," I mumbled. "Oh, that sucks. Do you need help with that?" "No need, I can handle it myself." It was time to figure out what it all meant. While I changed the tires, I pondered the introductions, deciding to recall all the things Dora had done and said lately to see if I could spot any clues or warning signs. The first thing that struck me as odd happened the night before. When I got home, Dora complained to me that the bathroom drain in our toilet was nearly clogged again. It wasn't the happiest of information, but why on earth would it even matter exactly at 6 o'clock in the evening? We live in an old house and use the tub as a shower as well. Okay, wait, that means she showered before I got here. Well, you don't need to read too many stories on these erotic websites to put 2 plus 2 together and figure out what that means. So after changing the tires, I went upstairs to wash my hands. At the same time, I checked the laundry basket and found a wet bath towel left over from last night, and Dora's panties still damp from hand washing. My name is Matt. I've been married to Dora for 4 years. We knew each other in high school, but we didn't date at the time. One day, after graduating from college, we saw each other again, and everything seemed to fall into place. We had an active and healthy sex life before we got married, and it didn't slow down too much until recently. Come to think of it, the first red flag was when our friends, Jim and Diane, got divorced. I was totally on Jim's side for all the crap he put Diane through during the divorce. Dora, on the other hand, somehow couldn't understand how someone with a mild temperament like mine could support such cruel, in her opinion, treatment of a cheating wife. I recalled her clucking, justifying her friend Diane's behavior by saying maybe it was just sex, and that this little mistake shouldn't lead to such draconian measures. "Look at it this way, Dora," I said to my wife. "Fidelity is like pregnancy. You're either pregnant or you're not. There's no gray area. There are only 2 numbers on the fidelity scale, either 100% or 0. Looking back, Dora's reaction at the time now spoke volumes to me. We recently bought this old fixer-upper. By the term fixer-upper, American realtors mean properties that are in need of renovation. These are private homes and apartments whose previous owners didn't keep up with their condition, neglected them, rented them out, while failing to repair them in a timely manner. As a result, the property is not ready for new tenants. It needs to be renovated beforehand to increase its value, JFC note. Until serious improvements are made, the place won't sell to anyone unless someone else wants to clean it up. I'm generally pretty handy with tools. The only problem is finding enough time to do it all. Now, in light of my recent discoveries, I didn't want to go to the bathroom. Instead, I just needed to clear my head and get my thoughts together. I headed outside to do some yard work. My indignant mind was boiling with anger. But I didn't know what else to do to get more information. Dora had also gone out into the yard and was crouching nearby tending to her rose bushes. I had already started pruning the trees when suddenly I heard a shrill screech. Dora was stumbling, trying to get up and screaming in panic, "Snake, I smiled. Dora was deathly afraid of snakes. As for me, I find snakes amusing. Living ropes with eyes and a split tongue. As I got closer to her bushes, I saw a pencil-thin garter snake about a foot long on the ground. Kill it, Dora yelled from a safe distance. I lied. "I don't see anyone. Are you sure?" Hell yes, it was huge. Look closely. While Dora looked out the door, I picked up a foot-long twig from the ground and threw it in her direction. "Is that her?" A deafening squeal and the sound of the door slamming shut was all I heard. Dora had locked all the doors leading into the house. so I had to apologize at length for throwing the snake at her before I was allowed into our abode. "I need to lie down," she moaned. You know I hate snakes. It wasn't funny at all to throw it at me. As soon as Dora went upstairs, I turned on her cell phone and wrote down the phone numbers she'd called lately. At the same time, I checked her recent travel history on Google Maps to see what routes she'd made inquiries on. Yesterday, for example, at 2:30 p.m., Dora visited the Parakeet Lounge coffee bar. Putting the puzzle together turned out to be not so difficult. There were too many calls to Jacob Sater, her co-worker, for it to be a mere coincidence. There weren't many people in our fair city with such a notable last name. And one of them, I believe, is the fruit that lives about 4 miles from our house. Well, I decided to take a drive and look around locally. Turns out the Parakeet Lounge is almost directly adjacent to the America Sleeps Motel. Bam. 1 down, 1 to go. I carefully parked a few houses away from Jacob's house and watched him. There were a couple kids playing in the front yard, and a nice lady would occasionally peek out the window and chat with them. I assumed that the man who soon came out of the house was Jacob. After a minute, he got into a car parked outside the house and drove off. I came out of my ambush holding a folder and knocked on the front door. "Yes, can I help you?" The pretty lady owner had a nice voice, too. "Yes, ma'am, I'm updating the census information. Are you Mrs. Sater?" I inquired in a businesslike manner. "Yes, I am." Opening the folder, I made a note in my papers. "I'm sorry, I don't have your name. You have 2 children, don't you? How old are they?" "My name is Julie. My children are 5 and 7 years old," she replied. Nodding and deep in thought, I scribbled some more. "And you're still married to Jacob Sater?" "Yes," she answered easily. Julie then confirmed that Jacob was a manager at the same firm where I knew Dora worked. "Well, thank you. That's all I needed. Have a good day." I smiled as I slammed my folder shut and left Sater's house. Julie, like me until recently, was apparently completely unaware of what her asshole husband and my wife were up to. By this time next week, things will be very different. I rejected Dora's attempts at sex on various pretexts, and she didn't seem to pay much attention to my lack of interest. At the same time, I tried to keep to my usual routine as much as I could. To prepare my plan, I had to use a disposable cell phone. I wanted to be completely sure that what I had so far only suspicions about was really happening. It would be more than embarrassing to burn the ground based on faulty assumptions. On Friday, I took the day off and followed Dora to her work. Setting myself up for a long wait, I spent the morning reading erotic stories about cheating wives on my phone. For some strange reason, stories in the BTB genre have become my favorite at the moment. Around 2:30 p.m., Dora walked down to her car and pulled out of the parking lot. Following her, I kept a decent distance behind her, almost certain that the road would soon lead us both to the now familiar Parakeet Lounge. Indeed, after parking at the Parakeet, Dora headed straight for the motel stairs. I positioned my car so that I had a view of those stairs. A minute later, Jacob joined Dora, and the two of them went up to the second floor where Jacob opened the room with his key. Now I saw everything I needed to see. I dialed my friend Alex's number, letting him know I was heading in his direction, and then started the engine and drove off. Back at home, Dora was quite surprised to find me there, sprawled out on the couch watching TV. I had no doubt that she had just been given a good scrubbing and wanted a quick shower. "Matt, what are you doing home so early?" Lingering in the living room aisle, she asked a little worriedly. "I had some urgent business to attend to, so I took the afternoon off. I see you took the afternoon off too, didn't you?" As if nothing had happened, I asked her a counter-question in a steady voice. I wondered what she'd come up with as an excuse. "I spilled a drink on myself, so I decided to go home and take a shower. I'll be down soon, and let's go out for steak." Wow. Dora showed impressive agility and quick thinking in an unexpected situation. Wow. I, unlike her, could barely contain myself. While I waited for Dora, I had removed the ordinary doorknob from the bathroom door and replaced it with one that could only be opened from the bedroom side. The door opened from the bedroom to the bathroom, and now, once inside, Dora would be stuck. In the bathroom itself, we had no window, only a hood in the wall. The door, on the other hand, like all the other doors in the old house, was a rather heavy wooden door. After a while, I tiptoed up the stairs and heard the bathroom door click shut. I pulled its handle from the outside to make sure it was securely locked. A few seconds later, there was a hysterical squeal. Dora was pounding on the door, but the pounding wasn't as loud as her panicked screams.